All right, so I guess it's time I have to come clean, and because the cat's out of the bag. My trip from Mexico, or from Laredo, Texas, to the border of Guatemala was mostly good, but there was a significant issue. That was within the first 2.5 hours I was in the country, going from one highway to the next. And I get in front of this car. It's like a real short entrance, and I see a car, and I was like, I could either slow down and get behind it or sped up and get ahead, and of course I sped up. Get ahead of him, and in front of me was a tractor trailer. It was 2-lane road. I changed lanes to go around the tractor trailer, and I'm looking, again, 2 lanes. There's nobody in front of him. I start to pull over. Boom, I get hit. What happened was, the guy that I got in front of, he went around on the breakdown lane and hit me. Now, this was no accident. This guy was clearly a professional, and it didn't take me very long to realize I was a shakedown. Because when I got hit, I was like, "What the fuck?" My car's full of stuff I couldn't see through the windows. So anyway, pull over. I look at my car. There's a little tire mark right in the rear fender. Not that big a deal. The front of his car, the front left of his car is all fucked up. Like from his wheels, and there's tiny little bumps. And he comes out, he's holding pieces of his headlight, trying to put it together. And then the other guy, grabs a manila envelope. There's 2 people. A manila envelope, manila folder with this paperwork in it. And I'm like, oh, it's a shakedown. Because if his headlight truly was broken when he hit me, the parts would have been on the road. And nobody carries their insurance paperwork in a big-ass manila envelope or folder. So I was just like, and Eva is going, she's doing the translating, and we don't know what's going on. And I'm saying to her, this is a shakedown. This is a shakedown. But she's having a conversation and and she's all freaked out. But I knew what they wanted, and it was just, do we call the cops? Like, no, we don't have to call the cops. Because again, I've heard this story before. Just give them some money. Didn't have enough money to give them, because I purposely don't carry a lot of money in my pocket. So I just show a little bit. And oddly enough, it wasn't even pesos, it was Guatemalan quetzales. And I gave him a 24-inch TV that I had in the back that I didn't even know what I was going to use it for down here. And I didn't give him the remote or the power cord. And one other thing, he wanted Eva's gold chain. And he was like, I'm not giving you a gold chain. So I gave him, when I went back to the States, I bought another hair buzzing thing because I kept one here and one up there. And I gave him that because I don't even use my hair buzzer here because Eva does my hair. So it's just 2 things that I wasn't going to use. And he accepted that and split. And I was totally pissed off that my car made it 18 years and never got hit. And now, I'm fucking 2.5 hours in Mexico and I get ganked. And that was 2.5 hours into a 4-day trip. So it was just like worrying about it the next part, for the next 1,000 miles, more than 1,000 miles. But I noticed that, his car was all damaged. So if you're ever driving, and I was on the toll roads, if you're ever driving, be wary of a damaged car, because most of the cars in Mexico are actually fairly new. Like I probably had one of the older cars, and my car is a 2003. Nice cars there, except for this one guy. So if you're doing the trip, stay away from bashed up cars. Having said that, it's a pretty good drive. The roads themselves, just the roads, I would drive on them at night in the rain at 75 miles an hour. That's how nice they were. Whether you should drive in Mexico at night is a whole different story. In the 80s when I was growing up, you don't go to Central Park after dark. It's kind of just don't do that. So, but yeah. And then I had a second shakedown. But that was in Guatemala. Just to pass through the border, yelling, screaming, we did it, we made it. And within 10 seconds, got pulled over at a stop And I lost my license, or I left my license at a hotel in Mexico. So there we go. And I wound up paying my first bribe. Both things cost me probably $50 each one, maybe. $100 tax to drive through Mexico. Because here's the thing. It's like I wasn't surprised at any of this. Like I knew these things might happen. And when they were happening, like, I was like, all right, it's happening. You know, it's not that big a deal. Everybody goes through it. So would I do this drive again? No. Only if I really had to. But it was quite the experience. The Mexican landscape is amazing. Amazing. Been to some really cool towns. Drove through Mezcal, which is where, oh, I forget the name of the town, but it was just nothing but agave plants and mezcal. Oh, it was like, oh, shit. What a bad time to not be drinking.